But real frustration. I think Argentina will have looked at that, targeted that game and expected 3 points, but they just couldn't get over the line.
Expected, and I think we as neutrals were watching that game and probably expecting a better performance from Argentina, because I thought they were a bit lackadaisical, if I'm brutally honest with you. I didn't really think they got into their flow, although they had a lot of possession. But they got off to a very good start. You know, scoring before 20 minutes I think is really important, and obviously Aguero needed to get that World Cup goal. Superb finish from him, and then you're just thinking that Argentina are just going to continue and they're going to keep going. But it was the start they wanted, an absolutely superb finish from him. We know we see
on his weaker side.
Yeah, absolutely. We see on a regular basis he's so strong, but once he gets turned and he's got half a look at goal, he looks to the corners, and you see how much power he gets through his left foot there. I mean, absolutely superb. It's next to the penalty spot, that little shift to the left-hand side, and it's a great finish. And then you're thinking, right, OK, it's going to be 2, 3 and 4. Well, you cannot write Iceland off. You know, we've seen in the Euros what they can achieve.
Amazing spirit from Iceland, but they did give a penalty away, though, which wasn't converted.
But then when this guy steps up, Messi, you expect him to score, but then you look at how many goals he's missed from that penalty spot. It's quite a lot. It's quite alarming, actually.
Tell me, good save or bad penalty?
I think it's a bad penalty. It's a great height for a goalkeeper. Once you pick your spot, is it enough into the corner? No, I don't think it is. And I talk about the height of it. It's the perfect height for a goalkeeper to jump across to his right-hand side. Great save, and disappointment for Messi, obviously.
The obvious reason to show this is how relaxed I thought Cristiano Ronaldo looked ahead of his penalty against Spain the other night, and just edgy I thought Messi looked. The pressure, the weight on his shoulders, it seemed to show. And of course you look at the opening games for each of them, and 11 shots for Lionel Messi, no goals, 4 shots from Cristiano Ronaldo and 3 goals. I mean, I think that bothers him. Will that bother Messi when he looks at something like that?
From witnessing both of the performances, I thought Ronaldo played the way we see him every week. You know, where he relaxes when he hasn't got the ball, he'll just burst into areas and make great runs. I watched Messi today, and I actually think he tried too hard. Whether that's him when he puts an Argentina shirt on, I don't know. But he was picking the ball up. You could see he was trying to take 4 and 5 people on around the 18-yard box, and it wasn't happening for him. Iceland in the first half were absolutely brilliant the way they worked him around him. They didn't man-to-man mark him, but they had 2 or 3 players around him. Gudmundsson, Gunnarsson, they were just closing him down as soon as he picked that ball up. And he got frustrated. He had 11 shots, I think, in the game, but they were more outside of the area. They're trying to get him onto his right foot, but the shots, he came close on a couple of occasions. Well, I think because it's Messi, we expect more. And I think when the camera was panning on him in the game, he looked a little bit frustrated.
I'd just like to see Messi perhaps a little bit further forward. I know that he perhaps likes to drift around, but because he played so deep today, there were so many Icelandic players around him, he couldn't really get going, and he was, the Icelandic players were within touching distance of him and were stopping perhaps the build-up that he was enjoying. And I just think that if he goes higher up the pitch, it'd be a little bit more dangerous.
Do you know what? That's what I was talking about, the Argentina midfield. I don't think are creative enough to get those balls through to Messi in the pockets. I know it's great if he takes up little pockets in between the lines, and he goes back to defenders, he can turn anybody, but I don't know if their midfield is gifted enough to do it.
There was a lot of backward and square possession stuff.
They were struggling to break them down. They were very, very solid.
But they keep running back for
Messi was coming back. He was coming back to get the ball himself. And after he missed the penalty, he was almost trying to do too much. He was coming too deep to try and affect the game far too much. Listen, he's the best player they've got. He's the best player in the world. Some will argue him and Ronaldo. But he was maybe trying to do a bit too much. The service to him, he gets frustrated with.
Just to underline that point for you about the penalties, let's have a look at them side by side. So Lionel Messi in the game against Iceland, against Cristiano Ronaldo in that game against Spain. Look at how Ronaldo looks. He just looks so relaxed, so comfortable, so confident. And it's stupid to say about a player of Lionel Messi's quality and what he's done in the game. I just didn't get that feeling from him today.
No, and I think, as you say, the expectations, obviously, they have to go out and they have to try and win the first game. They've seen what Portugal have done against Spain. A great performance, although they drew the game at the end of that. But Ronaldo's performance throughout the whole of that game, he looked relaxed when he was on the penalty spot, and he felt confident when he was running up to that he was going to score. Messi, because it's 2 or 3 steps before he gets to the penalty spot, I know we've seen different penalties today and over the tournament so far, but he just looked a little bit on edge for me. I sensed a little bit of frustration from the Argentinian camp because I don't think it was a great performance. I think when you look at that, you know, everybody, the expectations of Messi, he's there, he wants to be the match winner, he's obviously one of the best players in the world. But when you look at the qualification, they made it very difficult for themselves. So I think going into this tournament, because they've got the greatest player in the world at the moment, it was always going to be the expectations. I think they dropped below them today.
They didn't meet the expectations they were in this debut in the World Cup, but the truth is that taking a look at the Argentinian games throughout the last years, probably, you could just consider a miracle that this team has played a World Cup final and 2 Copa America finals consecutively. They lost all those finals, but taking a look at how they play, and that's the general feeling inside the Argentinian squad and from the Argentinian journalists too. They say, we don't have an idea, we just depend on Leo Messi, and Leo Messi has to do everything. He has too much weight on his shoulders, and he has to not only play as our number 10, but play as a number 4, 5, 6, 8 and 10. He has to do absolutely everything. We could see him there at the Spartak Stadium today, too far away from the penalty area. He just wanted to create, he wanted to do everything, and I think that he was a little bit too individualist, too just everything depending on him. He knew that probably the pressure was too high for him, and when he missed that penalty, you had to see that reaction, and at the end of the game, just looking down, very disappointed. I think that he had some more pressure added because of what we saw yesterday from Cristiano Ronaldo.